Behavioral economics studies how psychological factors impact the economic decisions of individuals. There are many different themes that behavioral economics investigates, such as the non-rational decision-making process that people have while making economic decisions, which are market inefficiencies, the different stereotypes and anecdotes that shape people's emotional filters, which they rely on while making decisions, heuristics, leading people to make decisions that are not fully logical. And now, a bit of history to help you better understand our topic. There are three main theories that need to be addressed. First, the neoclassical model. Neoclassical economists took the approach that there are only two economic actors in the market and made simplified assumptions about how both actors behaved and interacted. The two agents are firms and households. Firms maximize their profits from producing and selling goods and services, while households maximize their utility from consuming those goods and services. After came the rationality axiom. The second half of the 20th century gave way to the rationality axiom, the belief that the rational economic man maximizes his own utility. The statement has often been interpreted to mean that the pursuit of self-interest is the only thing that is done by rational economic actors. These theories gave way to behavioral economics, which is the study of how individuals and organizations make economic decisions. A sophisticated model of human motivations is required to explain people's behavior, the way people react to good and bad fortune, and why people often act against their own self-interest. The theory relies heavily on scientific experiments to determine how people behave in different situations.
First, anchoring. Anchoring refers to the use of irrelevant information when evaluating an investment. People might tend to hold on to an investment which has lost its value because they hold on to the idea that the value will eventually rise again. For example, while trading on Corner Trade, you surely made some investments and held to it for a while. Imagine the situation where you were making some money but did not close the deal. When it dropped, you did not close the deal either, hoping for it to go up again. Unfortunately, you just lost more money than necessary because of anchoring. Next one, mental accounting. Mental accounting refers to people's tendency to separate their assets in different ways based on subjective criteria, which is irrational and often unfavorable to their investment decisions. For example, the nature of how the money was earned, through inheritance, through gambling, or through work can influence the way you spend or invest. An experiment was conducted where a group of people received $30 and were given the choice of cashing it in or tossing a coin, either winning $9 or losing $9. 70% of the people chose to play, as the money was given to them. Mental accounting can also lead investors to succumb to the house money effect, where risk-taking behavior escalates as wealth increases. Moving on to the gambler's fallacy and overconfidence. The gambler's fallacy happens due to a lack of understanding of probability. An individual might use past events to try to predict future outcomes, even though they have no correlation. This can lead to another important bias, overconfidence bias, overestimating the ability to successfully perform a task. Imagine yourself playing blackjack at the casino. The fact that you won the 3 precedent times tends to make you believe that your chances of winning a fourth time are higher than if you had not won before. Past results can influence a player's behavior, even though the probability of winning has not changed.
The herd behavior theory. Herd behavior refers to people's tendency to follow the actions or decisions of a larger group, even if individually they would not make the same choice. There are two main reasons that justify this bias: social pressure, as people have a natural desire to be accepted, and the belief that such a large group with the same opinion cannot be wrong. An interesting example of herding are investment bubbles. These bubbles inflate until the price of the asset is economically irrational. The bubble explodes when investors are not ready to pay this exuberant price anymore. An example of this is the dot-com bubble. Internet companies were given huge valuation on the stock market as everybody was buying and reached a historical peak in 2000. The bubble bursted as everybody sold their stock, resulting in a mild recession. Next, the overreaction and the availability bias. This refers to people's over-exaggerated reaction to new information in the market. Whenever some bad news comes out, people try to get out of a bad situation beforehand in order to reduce possible losses. This causes stocks to fall to a dangerous level. Finally, the prospect theory. The idea behind this theory is that most individuals, when confronted with two equal investments, one that mentions the possible gains and another that mentions the possible losses, most of them will choose the first option. Concluding, people tend to be irrational when making decisions. Behavioral economics tries to understand why. In other words, behavioral economics helps understand why people undersave for their retirement.